Hey, what's up, guys? Just looking at the worms right here. These are all breeder area right here. But I wanted to get back with you from that last video where it was killing me to talk to you about the cold compost. I couldn't keep off of it. Well, now we're going to finish that up. All right. And what we do here at New Soil Castings, we use rabbit manure. I know a guy that raises these little floppy ear bunnies. They're cute as a bug's ear. I don't need no more animals, so I don't own one. So I just get my stuff from him, and it helps him out because he don't have to deal with piles and piles of it. But the reason I use cold compost is it's just like hot compost. There's benefits to both of them, and we spoke about the benefits of the hot compost. So let's talk about a little bit about the cold compost. But the number one benefit of cold compost is it's less labor intensive. I mean, it's one of them you just dump it and forget it. You don't have to turn it. You want to keep it moist a little bit, but you don't have to turn it. You don't have to put air in it. You ain't running over every 5 days checking the temperature, make sure it ain't too hot, make sure it ain't too cold. You don't do nothing with it. You just cut over, dump it out, leave it alone. That's one of the best attributes of using a cold compost. All right. The other benefit about it, just like we spoke about hot compost, you don't need a huge area. Like hot compost, you got to have a 4x4x4. This, you can simply put it in a garbage can. You can put it in a garbage can and compost with it. You can put it in one of these breeding trays. I mean, it's going to break down either way. It's cold compost. It's going to naturally break down. It takes time with cold compost, but it's going to break down. So you don't have to mess with all that. You know, on cooler temps, it saves. What I was telling you about, the hot compost will kill off some of the good microbes. Here in the cold compost, you don't have that problem. You know, you don't have the heat killing off all the everything that you're trying to achieve here. It doesn't kill none of the bacteria. It's all in there. You know, you don't lose something with the cold compost. It will also retain more nutrients than hot compost, simply because it doesn't have the heat to burn it all off. You know, and so you're not dealing with 135 to 160, killing off everything in there, and more. Are you getting rid of all your good microbes? Like I said, in the hot compost, you'll get rid of some of them, but not all of them. But in the cold compost, you retain it all because it's just a naturally occurring composting. It's breaking down all by itself. You ain't giving it no help. You take it nowhere, set that tray down, you're going to walk away and go do what you want to do. You ain't got nothing to do with it other than that. Come over and scoop out what you're going to use. You know, another great thing about it is you can do it all year long. Where hot compost, you got a constant worry in the wintertime. Like we're fixing to go into our winter months here. I got to worry about the temp. That's why I do all my composting that I need for to get me through winter. I do it all through the hot months of summer because during the winter it's very, very, very hard in that ASP system with them just being wood boxes to maintain the heat. I've tried wrapping them. I've tried putting insulation around them. But when the temperature gets down to 11 degrees out here and the wind chill feels like it's 0 degrees, you're fighting a losing battle trying to keep that stuff hot. I don't care how much nitrogen you throw to it. I don't care how much alfalfa you throw to it. Alfalfa, we all know, will heat up a bin in a heartbeat. Rice will heat up a bin in a heartbeat. I've done it all trying to keep a temperature during winter. You can't do it, or I can't do it. I ain't gonna say you can't be done. I'm sure the professionals can do it. I'm just a redneck from Alabama who plays with worms. I have 2 wooden boxes and a bouncy blower and a 4-inch pot. I can't keep it, so I'm not worrying about it. But just like hot compost, it also has a few cons that come with it. Everything has its pros and its cons. It is a slower decomposition. You know, it takes it a long time to break down. I mean, you could put a pile and just walk away from it, and it may take it up to 2 years to completely break it all down. But I mean, that's what you get into when you use cold compost. Do you have to wait 2 years? No. And if you're using it for worms, I mean, the worms is going to break it down. So you don't necessarily have to wait 2 years, but it has been noted that can take up to 2 years to break this cold compost down. Do I let it wait 2 years? Not a chance. I don't even let it wait 2-3 months. With all these IBC totes we have around here, it don't take much. It, it may take maybe 2 or 3 changing out the bed and then an IBC tote, and you'll go through a pile of cold compost. So it don't last around here. 2 or 3 months is tops around here. You know, the other con about it, it's not like hot compost. It will not kill the weed seeds. It will not kill the pathogens. It will not kill the pesticides. You know, what it is what it is, and that's what you're owning. You know, it will not do none of that. That's why a lot of people do the hot compost. You know, some people, you just don't want rogue pumpkins and tomatoes and pepper plants growing in your garden. That's why most gardeners use hot compost. But once again, I'm running this through the worms. The benefit to me is not what it has right now. It's a benefit to the worms. Now, once the worms break it down, that's the benefit to me. So I don't care what's in it, because once it goes through that bin and the worms get done breaking it down and I sift it all out, none of that's going to be in there anyway, except for, the pathogens and stuff still be in there. But anyway, it ain't enough to hurt anything. And the only other problem that I have found working with cold compost is, you know, it has a tendency to smell. When you get this rabbit compost, you're usually getting all the little wood chips, or if they're using hay, whatever they're using for a base bedding, you usually get all that mixed in with your cold compost, which is fine because it'll break down as well. But it has all the urine in there, and that's one thing I want to stress to you about cold compost. If you're using rabbits or you're using goat manure, goat manure can be used, alpaca manure, wash that stuff off. When I get this stuff, the first thing it does, it gets dumped into a barrel. It has a whole bunch of holes in it. I dump it all in the barrel, and I'll flood that barrel with water, and all that water will drain out. And I'll just leave it sitting in there a day or two, because it's going to get mushy. You don't want to mess with it then. So I let it sit in there a day or two. And once that barrel drains out, then I put it in my wheelbarrow and take it to the bin that I'm going to store it in. Because I want to, it's just like cocoa fiber. You got to be careful about the cocoa fiber that you get, because it's come from where salt water is. So some brands have a lot of salt in it. I have bought some off of eBay. I know we're drifting, but I have bought some off eBay. It literally killed every worm I had. It took me a lot of digging to realize what it was. And when I looked at my pack, it didn't say it was triple washed. I didn't even think it said it was washed at all. And that's what killed all my worms. That's what you got to be careful with when you're using cocoa fiber. You got to, if you get it and it don't say it's triple washed, but put that stuff in the bucket, let it flare out, let it dry back down again, flood it again, let it fluff up, rinse it all out, do it at least 3 times. Try to get all the salt off of it you can. But look at the package. Make sure you're buying a triple washed cocoa fiber. Hey, y'all don't do that. Stop. No fighting. But make sure you get triple washed cocoa fiber, because that salt will kill your worms in a heartbeat. But yeah, this is just the next video. We went to hot compost, and this is cold, and it was killing me in that video. Yeah, I just couldn't. When I was talking about it, I just kept looking at this bin and saying, I got to tell them about this. I got to tell them about that. This is what I see. Look, now we're done. This is the second video. We did the hot compost. This is the cold compost. But yeah, don't be afraid to use the cold compost. I love it. I mean, when you're in a hurry to get stuff fed and you really ain't got the time to go dig it out, just grab you a bucket of this, throw it in the bin, and keep going. You ain't got to do nothing else with it. The worms will take care of the rest of it. I hope y'all learned something from all this. Once again, we use hot, we use cold compost. That's what we use here for our worms and new soil castings. I want to say thank you for all y'all watches of the videos and share them out, and we keep gaining subscribers. We're getting ever so close to the 1,000 subscriber mark, and that is a feat in itself. I didn't think any of y'all would want to listen to a dumb redneck from Alabama talking about worms, but I greatly appreciate every one of y'all. But we're gonna get out of here. I was over when you started. I was over checking these. I've already fed these. I gotta feed the rest of the men, so we gotta hustle and bustle. So this is Bobby with New Soil Casting, saying we're gonna keep saving the soil one worm at a time, y'all. One worm at a time. And once again, we will be shipping again at the end of this month. I'm fixing to change all the notifications on my website, and I will be sending out a email letting everybody know. But I enjoyed talking with y'all about it. I'm gonna go give this bin to the next set of worms. Y'all have a great day. It's by with New Soil Casting. We'll talk to y'all later, guys. Peace.